All right, so we've got that going now. We're going to start taking a look at this. So, hello everybody and welcome. This is the first time I've ever actually done anything like this. Wanted to try and do this for a little while and was just trying to find ways to do this. So, what we're going to be doing is we're going to go back to an old video that the Grim Reapers did. That was the first one that I actually did the research on. I was actually specifically requested, "Hey, Blue Wolf, how you doing?" And yes, I know who you are. This is the first one that I actually did the research on before they actually put out the video. But I want to go into it. I want to show what's on there. And I also want to read through some of the comments that came in so I could also answer some of them. So, the first one that they did was this.
Sponsored by Winwing Technologies. They couldn't offer the full cockpit, but we think this is the next best thing. Hello valued viewers, I hope you're all doing wonderfully well. Today we've got a really big fight. I got an email from a very nice chap from a US AF airbase, trying to get the words right, in Okinawa, which is this island here. The name of the base is Kadena Air Base, and he asks what would happen if a massive Chinese air assault attacked Okinawa and the base. Could they survive? So I guess we're going to go and try it. Before we continue, very quickly, we've been having a lot of troubles with YouTube lately. It would be really appreciated.
All right, so I'm going to stop it right here for a moment in the video. So if you look here, Cap starts talking specifically, and by the way, if you guys aren't familiar with this channel, look them up on YouTube and give them a subscribe. They have some pretty good war games that they do on here. But anyway, they're looking here at Kadena Air Base. At least that's what they say they're looking at, right? Okay, so what I had found out was that they were talking about, you know, the distances that are to any of the other things that could actually help the U.S. that's stationed here at Okinawa from a surprise attack that's coming from the Chinese mainland. So when they were talking about it, one of the things that Cap noticed was that there were F-15s, and then he noticed some F-35s. Okay, so when he went through this, he actually had, and I'm going to go through it, and he's going to show some of the actual satellite photos that you can get of this. So let's continue this.
Could they survive? So I guess fun attack. Massive Chinese wave is coming from due west here to attack Okinawa. Here are some rough distances. Okinawa is about 400 miles from China mainland, about 370 miles to Japanese mainland. So the first thing I like to do is do some basic research to find out what resources the US have on and around Okinawa. Of all the services, they've got one full-time base that includes fighters, and we're only interested in fighters today. That's Kadena on Okinawa, so that's what's going to be defending. There are other US bases on the mainland, various points of the mainland, USAF, US Navy and Marines, but they are at least 370 miles away, and that's going to play into what we're doing today, so bear that in mind. Stationed at Kadena are the 44th and the 6th.
Now, keep listening to this, because this is where, when I start doing my research, I start really getting into it and drawing down further. But I want you to hear what Cap was able to find first, okay?
67th USAF F-15 C-D Eagle squadrons, consisting 54 F-15s, 44 of which are supposed to be scramble ready at 45 minutes notice. None of this is classified, by the way. This is all just came off Wiki and whatnot. However, here's something that's interesting. When I was doing my research and checking out the different bases and what was stationed there and whatnot, when I looked at Kadena, at whichever point this photograph was taken, yes, all the F-15s are there at Kadena, but look what we've got here. For the naked eye to see, 8 F-35s. No idea which, but I'm going to assume that they are F-35As.
Ah, so he just assumed that they're F-35As. So, in the U.S. military, there are 3 different variants of the F-35. There's the A, let's see, I'll just say it this way. There's the Alpha, the Bravo, and the Charlie. variant. They are for 3 different services. The A or Alpha model is specifically for the Air Force. The F-35A is for the Air Force. The B model is for specific units within the U.S. Marine Corps. It is a VTOL version of it. It's basically going to replace all of the Harriers that they've got. Then you have the C variant. And the C variant is going to be, essentially, it is a carrier version. And both the Navy and the Marine Corps are going to be utilizing that. So he's assuming that these right here are all F-35As. Okay? So let's go a little bit further.
Today, officially, none of these are stationed at the base according to the website, but if you read various news documents from the war zone and whatnot, they are doing training for F-35s here. So
now keep that part in mind too. Okay, so what I am now going to do is they also talk about where they might get any other reinforcements, and the only spot that they could find was some spots on the mainland where it's a variant of the F-16, essentially a homegrown variant that Japan makes called the F-2. Looks very similar and acts very similar to the F-16, but it's not quite one. And they were finding that as the reserve unit. Now, here's where this goes in. I am going to bring up specifically my own slides on this. Okay, so we've got all this. Here we go. Okay, so I've got a lot of different research right here. I've got a lot of stuff that was in Okinawa. Now I'm going to show you what I was able to find out. So we're going to go into Google here. And we're going to go Okinawa. Okay? Let me show you how I actually do this research. We're just going to go to the maps. Now you're probably thinking, how much can you get off of the maps? Quite a lot, actually. We're going to go layers, satellite, obviously, and now we see Naha, which is actually the name of the island. The name of the biggest city on Okinawa. And as we zoom in, a couple things are very quickly being noticed. One, there's a runway right here, right? You can see another one right here. And then, if you're looking, you can see here, there's a third one. So if they've got 3 air bases, if there's at least 3 airports, then that means there's at least 3 different spots that you can look for aircraft. So we're going to look down here. Now that one's a key name. That is Kadena. Kadena Air Base is specifically a U.S. Air Force air base, although there's something else about this base that we'll look at in a moment. So we're looking here and we can see F-15s. And here they are right out on the tarmac, which means these shelters are where they're going to be at primarily. In fact, you can see them out of the shelter. Now, without going into this, we can start to find out how many of these they may have. And yes, these are also aircraft shelters. All of those. That's an awful lot of aircraft that they can have there. Just in the hardened shelters that they have right here, you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 F-15s just right there. Okay? That's not including all of these. And note, that might not be all of the different aircraft spots that they've got. In fact, if you look here, you can see where there might be 2 more right here. So as I started to look, I started to very quickly notice that there was a lot more spots for aircraft. Now, if you're looking here, it looks like we've got, that's a P3 Orion. In fact, there's actually two of them right there. Not sure what these are. They don't look like they're... So these have got to be tankers. In fact, I think they are. I think if you look right there, you can see where the boom comes out. I think these are actually tankers. They could be J-Star, but I don't think we have that many J-Stars over there, and these definitely do not look like they're E3 Sentries, so that's not going to be them. They could be P8 Poseidons, but I don't recall them looking like this. The P8 Poseidon is going to essentially replace this, the P3. They're basically replacing the P3 with a jet that can fly a lot farther and a lot faster. So then we look, there's a lot more stuff over here. We've got, now this one I can clearly tell you, nope, you're asking for the KC-135, that's a KC-135. You can even see it right there. That's the boom for it. Okay? Right that little spot, and they've got a couple of them. So they've got the one right here. You've got at least one, two, a third, and a fourth right there. So you've got at least 5 of them. Looks like there's possibly a 6th right there, maybe a 7th in here, but I can't tell. I can't verify it. And there's still more. We've still got more right here. 7, 8, 9, 10. At least, ooh, and there's another one right there. 11 of them so far. Just looking right there. And let's see. I don't know if we counted those. I don't think we did. But there's a bunch of refuelers right here. Pretty much all KC-135s. Then you look over here, and you've got this. These are the RC-135s. Very old aircraft. They're SIGINT aircraft. ELINT aircraft, actually. Electronic intelligence is what they usually do. So they pick up on radio frequencies, stuff like that. And then right here, you've got, these are E3s. That one looks like it's supposed to be one, but for some reason it is missing the radome. Don't ask me why that is, but that clearly looks like the same aircraft. So unless they're using it for something different, it's just missing the radome, is my guess. I'm thinking it's supposed to be right here. Okay? So they've got E3s, they've got some rivet joints, they've got a bunch of in-air refuelers. In fact, I think they also have KC-130 support too. Right here. There's a lot of them. So they have KC-130s at the same time. They actually might be MC-130s, and I'll explain why that is in a moment. So as we looked, and as I started doing the research, one of the things I noticed is that at Kadena, there's this. There are 2 specific fighter squadrons from the U.S. Marine Corps that are sitting at Kadena Air Base. So all of these F-35s that they have on this base, these are all Marines. Every single one of those is a Marine aircraft. And they probably have some up at this point, and some could also be down in here. But if we look, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of them just right there. F-35Bs. So we've got that, and I looked up the number. What they're actually talking about is that there supposed to be an average Marine Corps squadron is about 12 aircraft. So between the 2 of them, you're talking about 20 to 24 of them, give or take, depending on how many of them are active. And then, of course, all of these different shelters, which could have F-15s or F-35s in them. And there's a lot. It's very hard to tell an exact number, but you can get an estimate. And as far as these being AC-130s, no, they would not have AC-130s out here. The only spot that I know of that the U.S. Air Force has any of the gunships is specifically at They have them down at Hurlburt Field, I think, is the only spot that they have them permanently stationed. If they need them anywhere else, they just fly them out. It's a big cargo aircraft that can fly a long distance. It just takes a little while. You know, those big turboprops, they may be loud, but they're not fast. So, and if you look, you can actually kind of tell that these probably are not gunships because you're not seeing anything protruding off the side. So more than likely, these are either cargo or they are specifically refuelers. And that one looks like a newer version than this one too, because if you look, the paint job's looking a little bit better. So, okay. So we've got these, and what we've got here, they have the F-35s plus the 2 squadrons that Cap had already talked about of the 44th and 67th. The average squadron for the U.S. Air Force can be up to, it's like up to 30, I think it can be, but we put it at an average of about 24. That's what they're showing there. If you look, E-3Cs, they're supposed to have 4 of them. KC-135 is supposed to have 12. Okay. Now they're also supposed to have this, a PAC-3 battery, at least one air defense battalion. So where is that, pray tell? Well, if we scroll out and look, there's actually something right here. And in fact, they're in 2 different spots. So if you look here, these are actually Patriot missile batteries. Like, you can actually see the launchers. And somewhere in here is going to be the radar. More than likely, it's probably like right here, but the launchers is what we're focusing on, and you can clearly tell these are hardened sites for it. Just a hard concrete pad, so it's easy for them to deploy them and move them very easily. And then we looked, and we have another one right here. And this one, these are actually a little bit more prepared because you have these revetments between them. So they actually have a little bit of protection from weapons hitting on any of them so that they can't just, daisy chain across it. And of course, radar is still there as well. So now we got this one. But that wasn't the only spot that I was looking. So the next spot is going to be down here. Now, what is Ginawan? Well, this is Marine Corps Air Station Futenma. And so we're going to start looking. So as I look around, I'm trying to look for where actual fixed wing aircraft are going to be. I'm not looking for these. Like, you can see the rotary wing assets. You've got these all look like they are UH-1s, and then you have a bunch of Ospreys right here. So this is going to be primarily for their rotary wing assets. So this is where most of the Marines are actually going to be at for their air station. If you're looking at it, this is what's going to be getting out to the assault ships and everything else and doing air assault, that sort of thing. So that's not one. So let's take a look down here. We've got a big runway. Got a lot of stuff. Clearly, you're thinking, oh, wow, well, that's just, that's just an international airport. Until you look here. And now we have something different. In fact, by the way, those are not A4s, even though they look it. That's one of their trainers. I think that's the T6 Texan. I think they get like their own version of it. But you can clearly see F-15s. Plus, that's an E2. So they've got their own AWACS support, at least one of them right there. And all of these hardened shelters for them. And if you scroll down and start looking, you can find more hardened shelters. You can basically find out exactly where they're at. And if we look this up, go over here, we're going to go Naha Air Base. We just go to Wikipedia and current SDF units. What do we got? Well, we've got these two. 204th Tactical Fighter Squadron, 304th Tactical Fighter Squadron, and then a Southwestern Air Command Support Flight. with the T4 Kawasaki's. So that's what their little trainer is. That's the T4. It's a trainer. Then you have the 603rd with E2Cs. So as we look here, we've got 2 fighter squadrons plus the E2s. And these are just the C variant. They're not the newer D variant. They also have P3s for their, for just search out on the seas, but nothing major. So, now that we got that, we know that between these bases, we've got 2 squadrons of F-15s here, plus 2 squadrons of Marine F-35s, plus, that's not it, over here, plus 2 batteries, it's 1 full battalion of PAC-3s. Then you have another 2 squadrons of F-15s down here, plus E2 support, E3 support up here. And then I found out they had one other thing. There's an army base nearby. Now, I could not actually find any of these deployed, but they're more than likely stored until they need them. So if you look, you can actually see on Okinawa, we've got fighter coverage up here, fighter coverage down here, air defense here, air defense here. And as I show you, these are, where that stuff is at. But then, well, what else do they have? And I started looking right here. So what they were showing before was that they were showing like some coming from as far away as like Tokyo to come in. What I actually found out was they have a couple different air bases in which they could provide fighter support. Now, the first one is going to be right down here. There's supposed to be F-15s right here. They're actually replacing it with the F-35Bs, but they don't have them just yet. They started getting the first ones, and you can actually see them on Google Maps that it's F-15s. In fact, let's take a look at that. So this is Utabara Air Base. So take a look. There it is. Now, the issue I have with this one is you can't actually see where they're at. I think they're in here, and possibly in these 2 buildings, but you can't actually see any of the F-15s. You know some exist here because they have these hardened shelters right here for the alert ramps. Like, you can just go in and out of here. Hey, Brenna, I'm doing very well. I am doing very well. How are you doing? And as we continue to look here, you can't really see where they have more of them. Although that looks very interesting. That looks like the outline of an F-15. And you can tell that this place actually still has F-15s. I mean, that's one of the photos that they have of the place. So you've got an F-15 literally right there. But I don't know how long ago it was. They clearly have the support gear, because these are all the little support gear that you need to start those things up. And they have 1 full squadron that's supposed to be here. Like I said, I could not find them on the ground, which to me is almost a red flag that something's going on, and they could just be doing maintenance at this time, because that taxiway looks like it's pretty much dead, like they're repairing it, and so does that. So they might have temporarily moved them. And we've got Golden Tiger in here. Welcome, welcome. But you can also tell right here, they've got a little museum here with some of their older aircraft that they've had before. Chinooks, that looks like an F-10, maybe an F-102. That definitely looks like an F-80. There's an F-4, but these are all fuelers. You don't need fuelers out there if you don't have aircraft. And those are all ready. So there's clearly aircraft here. The next spot was at Suiki Air Base, with the F2. Okay? So we're going to go take a look at that. Kill that, and there it is. Now they're showing it right here. That might be the command headquarters, but that's not where the airbase is. Right here. And just like the last one, I don't see where they're at. Let's see if we can find any of them out on the tarmac for this. So, no, these look like these are the alert ones. Looks like they've got maybe 2 more right there that they possibly have. That could have one, but that's more than likely support now. And they clearly have weapons stations right here. These are all for weapons. That's why you have these bunkers. You don't want a bomb hitting it and taking out your entire weapon stockpile. So that's what they'll have there. And I can't see them, but these are what the F2 looks like. Now remember what I said earlier. That's hard to tell. It's actually hard to tell. It's going to be based on the day. You might have like 3 or 4 up doing cap, but it generally varies from place to place and time to time. If they have the cap mission, they might have more of them up. If they don't have one and they're just doing training, they might have less. These are the fuelers. You can see them again. So clearly they have aircraft nearby. More than likely right here. Yeah, sure what all of that is, but that looks important. So, this is what we've got. This is what they have. Now, Cap was going through this, and then I did this one.
Itself, but we won't be modeling those today.
Alright, let's go to my version of this.
Hello valued viewers, I hope you're all doing wonderfully well. I spent a few hours on Sunday going back through the last week's videos just to read your comments and see what you guys are saying. The most interesting comments came from this video here. Could the USAF at Okinawa defend a full Chinese air attack? War Games 68. Loads of you have watched it and you've got 2,000 comments and I've read as many as I can. The main comments seem to be you enjoyed the fight, but you want it A, more realistic, and B, bigger. And I think we can do both of those things at once. So obviously the idea is, what if China did a first strike on Okinawa with aircraft and cruise missiles? To keep the size of it down, last time we only modelled the F-15C USAF air defence at Okinawa, as well as the surface-to-air missiles. This time we're going to go back and model the entire defence system of Okinawa, which is quite big. So, first of all, it needed some decent research done. That is not my strong suit, and it takes a lot of time. So, very kindly, Combat Ineffective has done it for me. His links will be down in the video
there it is. There's the plug
Here is
for
his
me.
research. The island of Okinawa is currently defended by, first, the Americans at Kadena Air Base, US Marine Corps, the 121st Fighter Squadron with 12 F-35 Bravos, and the 242nd with, again, 12 F-35 Bravos. Sharing the base are the USAF.
Now, if you're wondering why I said that they had 12 and how I got that exact number, it's an estimate. Okay? I'm going based off of what I could find out. And if you're wondering whether you can find this stuff out, you absolutely can. By the way, if you're wondering why this map looks the way it does, it's because I just found a generic map of it that looked good. And it just happened to be in, I'm guessing this is German. So that's why it looks like that. But if you're wondering, okay, so we're going to take a look. If you look at all this stuff, you can find out pretty much anything that's at these bases. Let's go. USMC Kadena. Let's see what we find. Okay, Marine Corps. That shows 33rd Fighter Wing somewhere. That's U.S. Air Force. U.S. Forces, Japan. And let's see. If we look, they've got something at Yokota, but that's not what we're going to look for. you gotta know where to look for it. So we're just gonna bring up Kadena Air Base, right? Okay. So we take a look, and we can see what's here. Based units, right there. Air Force, Army, Marine Corps. All right. So the Marine forces that are here, we've got right here the 3rd Marine Expeditionary Force, 1st Marine Aircraft Wing, and then Marine Wing Liaison Kadena. So, we look at this aircraft wing. We've got current aircraft. We've got all this. Locations. Futenma, Iwakuni, Kaneohe Bay. Now, Kaneohe Bay, I believe, is Hawaii. But as we look, this is where the key part is. Right here. Squadron 131 F-35B, Squadron 242 F-35B. They're saying that they're out of Iwakuni, but they're not out of there. They're just actually subordinate to them. Okay? So that's where they're at. Now, if we want to look, we then take a look at how many aircraft are in a Marine Corps squadron. Right there. Boom. Right there. 12 aircraft. That's exactly what we were looking for. So if you're wondering why I got this number of 12, that's where I got it from. Okay? So, granted, there's probably going to be some that are down for maintenance. There's probably going to be some that are down for, that have been up for training, that aren't fully armed. That there could be any number of different things. But we're going to try and go for the, I guess you would say the best case scenario, which would be all of these things are ready to go and ready to fight. And is that ever going to happen in combat? No. I don't care what you do. You're never going to have every single aircraft ready to go. Some are going to have problems, some aren't. So that's what we did with that. If you're wondering on these two, how I got the numbers, like say for these, the F-15s on the 44th and the 67th. So again, let's go back. Let's take a look here at U.S. Air Force. And we've got 18th Fighter Wing is the one that's here. So, and it says it's hosted there at Kadena. Stations. Where is it at? You can actually see some of the old ones right there. If you look, that shows the 67th. So this one's not, let's see, units, right here. Okay, we look right here. There's only two that have F-35s. 44th and 67th. That's how I get the numbers. That's how I get the names of these. If you look, you can see assignments, aircraft. They're showing specifically what they've got, F-15s, and they're probably the C and D variants, not the E variants. Most of them do not have the, some of them will have them, but they're definitely not the A and Bs. They're going to be at least C and Ds, and they're not probably not going to be the Strike Eagles. So that's what you've got there. Now we're going to take a look at how many aircraft are in an Air Force squadron. 12 to 24. So, what did we go with? We went with, of course, 24 of these things. C and Ds, and then I told them that they had the E3s and the KC-135s. So that's where I'm getting some of these numbers. Let's go back to this.
44 Fighter Squadron, F-15 Cs and Ds, and today we'll just do Cs, 24 of them. And the 67th, again, 24 F-15Cs. Also, 4 E-3 Century AWACS aircraft. Also 12 refuelers, which we're not going to use today. Finally, US Army, 1st Battalion, 1st Air Defense, Pack 3 Patriot. That is 4 batteries of Patriot. Next, the Japanese at Naha. So this is Kadena here, by the way. This is Naha here. The 204th Fighter Squadron, 20 F-15Js. The 304 Fighter Squadron, another 20. With 4 E-2C Hawkeye AWACS aircraft. Next, Japanese Army, 15th Anti-Air Regiment, consisting of 3 batteries, Type 3 Chusam, and
Now, if you're wondering what the Chusam is, I will pull that up. The Japanese Chusam, Type 3 Chusam, right here. Okay. If you look at it, it kind of just looks like a Patriot. It really does. It looks like a Patriot missile. That's it right here. That's the missile launcher. Looks like it can carry about 6 in one of these trucks. Gives you an idea of what it is. That's the missile itself. And so that's what they have there. That one definitely is not. I can tell just by looking at that right here that this specifically right here is going to be either a Patriot or a Thade. So it could be either one, but it's definitely not a Chusam. And that looks like something different. Oh, so they're buying them. Okay. So that's what we have with that. That's what the Chusam was. They also have another one, which is called the Type 11, and we will pull that one up so you can see that as well. Boom. This thing right here can be mounted on either a truck with 4 of them, or you can mount it on a Humvee and you got 4 of them. Basically a shorter range system. You're talking something probably closer to, like, say, the Avenger, maybe a little bit longer range, but not by much. And I couldn't find these on it. If you're wondering if you can actually see them, it's actually very hard to tell where they might be at. We're going to take a look, and I'll give you an idea of what I was trying to look for. So we have Naha down here. Their army base is actually down here, and I gotta find it. Takes a little bit to actually find these things, especially when you don't understand the language. You've got to know what you're looking for. So what I did was I literally searched for it, and I found it. It was at Yisi Air Base. And if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I apologize. I don't speak Japanese. So we can find Yisi Okinawa is in this area. The army base is somewhere else in here. That might be close to it. Yep, there it is. By the way, if you're ever trying to find out where an army base or something might be, look for a golf course. There's a good chance it's going to be near it. That's a vice camp right there, and we're actually looking right straight down onto the camp. And this is how I could tell you it's very hard to tell where they might have any of their air defense units that are supposed to be here, because if that's part of their camp, I don't know where the rest of it is. And it's hard to tell any deployment sites. They might not even have these things deployed. They might be just something that when they actually go to war, that's when they actually bring them out and they have them in storage. So that gives you an idea of why I could not tell how many there were. This looks like something, but I can't tell what they have here. And none of this stuff looks like any of those trucks for like a Pack 3 or anything like that. There's clearly something there, but I can't see what it is. Not without getting any closer. And we're going to look down here. No, cannot see anything. So wherever it is, I couldn't tell. I mean, this definitely looks like something military, but this actually just looks like a training center. Oh, never mind. That says Okinawa Youth Detention Center. So that's different. We just found a prison. Hey, you and me both, Russ. I never found the reason to watch grass grow, but then again, I'm not good at it. So here's another part of their bases. Again, still can't find anything on it. Clearly that's a radar array. It even says it's a phased array. But I can't see any of the air defense assets. So if they're here, I don't know where they're deployed at. All right, let's go back.
and 1 battery of Type 11 SAM. Deployment placement. Combat has found the PAC-3 Patriot sites via satellite. Kadena is slightly down to the south, and we can see one site here and one site here. A further out view, Kadena is here, one site here, one site here, one site here, one site here. Also has got information on Japanese in Japan itself, but we won't be modelling those today because they would be too far out of the fight, so we're not.
And yes, Russ, that's what I'm actually thinking, is that they might only be deployed when they think they need them. I think they're going to rely, the Japanese are probably going to rely on the stuff that's going to be on the mainland as opposed to there, and they probably are assuming that we would give them advanced knowledge of something coming. So, given what is already there, I don't think they're assuming that those would be needed in the fight, but I believe we tried to model them in this just to give it, like, worst case scenario, we know something's coming. And with the amount of stuff that would be coming in this war game, absolutely you would see something on satellite to give you an idea. Hey, war might be coming.
Not going to be doing Japan, just Okinawa. Obviously, Japan is 400 and something miles away. So, that is our research for today. That is going to be a much bigger fight than we had last time, and it's going to be extremely interesting. Here is Okinawa. Here is the upper tip of Taiwan. Here is the east coast of China around the Wenzhou area. Japan is northeast off the screen by 450 something miles, basically out of today's response catchment. In fact, one more thing you did mention is about the US Navy, and it is normal to have US Navy ships around the area, however not permanently like they are in Japan, but we're going to assume.
And yes, Russ, there's actually one carrier group that is actually out in this area, but they're actually stationed up. They're stationed at Yokosuka, which is actually near Tokyo. It's consisting of the Ronald Reagan up there right now, I believe, is the one on station. What, carrier strike groups? No, we've got about 7 or 8 of them right now, because we've got full 10 Nimitz class, plus the one Gerald Ford class is out. And the thing with this, and it was modeled later, but we don't have it in this war game, is that there's also an LHA that is up there that can launch F-35Bs, but that is not being modeled in this one.
That the Chinese are going to do the attack where the United States Navy is not here. With that in mind, the details of today's fight. First, Okinawa. 4 Hawkeyes, 4 Sentries, 48 USAF F-15Cs, 24 US Marine Corps F-35As, 40 Japanese F-15Js, 4 Patriot batteries, 3 Chusum, and 1 Type 11. We've had to move things around a bit to suit the islands that we have available, so things aren't quite in the right place. Here we have our analogue for Naha. Air defense, 3 Chusum batteries. The closest we have in game for the technology type is actually a Russian site with independent option firing. Also, the Type 1s, we've just gone with Stingers because that's pretty much what they are. We have the 4 Hawkeyes, 3 in reserve here, which will take off and join the battle, and 1 airborne on station. Next, 40 F-15Js with their fancy Japanese paint scheme, carrying 6 AIM-120 Charlies, tank.
I loved the livery that they gave these things. That is just incredibly good. I love this, how that looked.
Tanks. And we've also finally managed to get the AIM-9 X-ray and helmet-mounted display working on the F-15, which is good. Note, not all of the F-15Js can fit on this base here. It's just how we've got it here. So the overspill is actually on Anderson here, which is pretending to be Kadena, but they are all there. You can take my word for it. Next, US Army. 4 full Patriot batteries. I could not put them in the rough positions that they were supposed to be in. This island simply doesn't support that with useful topography and line of sight. So I've got 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 up there. It just gives them the best line of sight possible with the radar. Next, Kadena. 2 squadrons of F-15C, 48 in total, with 6 AMRAAM Charlies, medium range, 2 bags, AIM-9 X's, and helmet-mounted display. Next, US Marine Corps. 2 stealth squadrons, total 24. I should say, all this so far is driven by AI, at maximum skill level. F-35s, they are Bravos in real life. We've had to change them for A's for technicality reasons. It's not going to make any difference at all with the combat, so don't worry about that. And here's where it starts getting cool, and where the improvements over the last battle are starting to show through. First, ignore these outer pylons. They will not be there in game, and they will be in self-configuration, giving them 4 AIM-120 Deltas. These are long-range missiles with a range of about 100 nautical miles.
That is actually something that they've been testing, and from what I found out, the F-35 does have them, as do F-18s, and I believe the F-15s also are capable of firing the 120D, but they probably don't have them in DCS, so that's why they didn't have them in here just yet. This is actually what is called just the regular... this is how an F-35 will fly in combat if there is any chance that they don't have complete air superiority. This is the air superiority package. If you start seeing stuff on the outside of them, that is what is called beast mode or murder mode, basically, and they are just going in there to kill everything. So if you see an F-35 without these pylons and completely empty, that is in air superiority mode.
Coupled with that, we've also got our analog for the AESA radar in this aircraft. So this aircraft can now lock targets at about 100 miles and fire at targets at about 100 miles, whether driven by human or AI. It's taken ages to get it to work, but it's there. Thank you, I should say, for all the guys and mod makers that have been helping us getting these simulations and mods working. As well as that, we have our humans today. They are taking up slots for 8 F-35As. We've got them here with the same loadout for...
Which F-35 problems are you talking about specifically? Because there's a couple of different ones that are out there.
4 AMRAAM Deltas that they'll be using, their helmet-mounted display mod, and their AESA radars. And we've got Scott, Matrix, Cannon, and Killer. Say hello.
They weren't having any problems with the F-35s with that. That was a problem they were having with the F-22s. I believe that is fixed. And one of the problems that they were actually having was specifically related to where they are stationed in Alaska. And the problem there is that their oxygen system, that when they're using the F-22s, they have to warm them up in the hangars first, especially if it's cold outside. So they keep the doors closed, turn on the engines, get the thing warmed up, get it ready to go. The problem then is that as soon as a pilot gets in there, the air system is trying to get air from outside. So what it was doing was it was just sucking in all of the fumes that were coming in from the engine that are stuck inside those hangars. I believe they fixed that problem from what I understand.
Boys.
Hello.
Hello, boys.
Hello, everybody.
E3 Sentries. 3 on reserve will be taking off, and 1 up and airborne. I think we can probably assume there's always going to be a sentry or 2 up and around Okinawa operating. And that is today's Blues. Mixed Japanese Defense, US Army, US Air Force, and US Marine Corps. Next, the Chinese attack. So it's spread over about 350 nautical miles of China, which is a big space. It would have taken a long time to get all this organised and planned. Obviously, it's a mass time on target attack, or near enough. The heart of the attack is bombers with long-range cruise missiles. 8 H-6Js here and 8 here. These guys are carrying 48 KD-20.
Now, this part right here, they're talking about these. These are old relics of the Cold War. These are modernized versions, but these are what would be called Tu-16 Badgers. Okay, these were something from the Cold War. They were essentially, until they had the Tu-22 backfire, this was like one of the mainstays of the Soviet Air Force. And if you're looking, you can see the cruise missiles that he's talking about that they're going to be launching during this, or going to be trying to launch during this.
Long-range cruise missiles. And another 48 up here, totaling 96 cruise missiles, which is a lot. They'll be fired about 400 miles away from Okinawa, basically over the coast of China here. 48 of the missiles are going to absolutely destroy Naha here, unless intercepted. And 48 from the other squadron are going to destroy Kadena here, taking all runways and serviceways out.
If you've seen the movie Maverick, Top Gun Maverick, the cruise missile strike that was in that, think about that. And think of what this is supposed to look like if these things hit, okay?
rest of the attack is there to ensure that the bombers get through. I should say in terms of distances, China mainland is about 400 miles away from Okinawa, and everything here is to scale furthest away. Some aircraft are starting at 650 miles, by the way. First line of offense, one squadron, 24 J-10A. They are equipped with 6 SD-10s. These are the equivalent of the American AIM-120C medium-range AMRAAM.
Now, with these things, these J-10s, there's a lot of different schools of thought of whether these things are actually as good as China claims they are. I know that some of the earliest versions of these things were just having issues with the engines, because this is one of the first fighters that it was indigenously built for them, and it wasn't just a copy of something else.
Also, 2 Hobbs close-range ACM missiles, equivalent of AIM-9.
And by that I say not a copy of something else. It still looks a lot like an F-16.
X-ray Sidewinder, flying high and fast, but with fuel reserves to make it to Okinawa and fight. Next, Squadron J-11 Bravo, carrying 4 PO-12s. These are SD-10.
Welcome to a Russian flanker copy that they made, and they were able to get this license so that they could build the airframe. The airframe's easy. The issue was they wanted to build their own engines for these, and that's where a lot of problems came in. Quite a few J-11s had engine failure problems, and these things would just fall out of the sky. So, not really the best. They're pretty good size, but they're equivalent to an Su-27 here.
And 2 older Roller-on Tech PL-8 Bravos for close in defense. Note, we've not used all of the weapon stations. That is simply because we're fighting over such large terrain here. This aircraft will not have the fuel if I equip them full of missiles, because I've tried this all out. A lot of you are saying, well, why don't you put refuelers? Well, if I put refuelers in here where it's useful, they're just going to get shot down by AIM-120Ds. So refuel.
Yeah, no in-air refuelers would ever be in something like this. In-air refuelers would have to be away from the fight, and as soon as they're up, anyone knows where an air refueler is. They're a primary target, so they're not going to be anywhere out here. That would just be dangerous to have. For instance, like the Air Force, if they were needing them, the closest they would be is over here for their guys to get airborne, get the fuel they need, and then go into the fight. But by that time that happens, these guys, 400 miles or even 650 miles does not take long in the air. You're talking most of these are going to be going supersonic or very close to about 600 miles per hour already. So you're talking at most that could probably take about an hour. And at 400 miles, you're talking even less than that, especially if you're already going past the speed of sound.
Fuelers at the tip of the attack are going to have no use. Next, the big hitters. Chinese modern J-16s, played by J-15s in this case, because I can't get a J-16 damage model working, but this will be just as good as an analog. So J-15 Bravos. Now, Rob?
These things are actually based more off of the Su-33s, I believe is what they're based off of. So it's the modernized flankers. I don't believe they're Su-35 based. But if you can see here, you can see the canards on them. They're a little bit bigger. They're a little bit more modern. They're quite a bit more maneuverable as well.
Other than medium-range missiles, these are taking the big telegraph poles, the PL-15, what NATO is scared of at the moment, the equivalent of the European Meteor or the American AIM-120 Delta. Range roughly, I don't know, about 100 miles-ish, maybe a bit more. Treat them about the same as our AIM-120Ds, and they will reach out and touch over the battlefield. Coupled with that, we've got the analog for the AESA radar, so that these aircraft can lock at about 100 miles. Also, Hobbs.
They can lock at about 100 miles on non-stealth aircraft, not stealth. Okay? So all of the F-15s, it should be able to lock onto them at about 100 miles. The stealth aircraft, the F-35s, if they're in stealth configuration, you're probably talking maybe 20 to 30 miles that they might be able to pick up and lock onto it. Stealth does not make you completely invisible to radar. It just lowers the radar cross-section.
PL-10s for self-defense. That's a squadron of 16 J-16 Deltas. Note how they are 100 miles behind the front line, and that's because the plan is...
Hey, Miss Rubik, I have not seen you in a while. How are you doing? Welcome to our, we're doing basically an AAR on a video I actually gave the research for. So be sure to look up the Grim Reapers on YouTube and give them a subscribe. You can also, guys, you can also go and put in and find my YouTube channel, which now is actually I've already over 125 subscribers, so I have my own link that actually works. So it's youtube.com/c/combat-ineffective, and you'll find us right there.
Is they are going to lob long-range missiles over the front liners, the same as the Americans plan to do. They're going to have the stealths behind and lob missiles over the F-15s if it works. Next, AWACS. The Americans have 8, the Chinese have 2. KJ-2000 there, and we have a KJ-2000 down there supporting the push. Next, the thorn in America's side, of course, the J-20. If America gets stealth, well, China gets stealth. A mini squadron J-20 Alpha, flight up north, flight up south. J-20 Mighty Dragons are equipped with SD-10.
This thing, I want to actually do a video on this thing. There's a lot that is wrong with this J-20. Based on my research, I don't know how stealthy this is. I do know what the design is. The design is something that was based off of an old Russian design. The Russians were trying to come up with a new aircraft for themselves, and this is almost that exact design. In fact, I'm going to try and see if I can find that. So, oops, I dropped the wrong thing. I think it was the MiG-41, I think. Yeah, the MiG-41. All right, let's see if this is it. Ooh, that MiG-41 looks an awful lot like the Su-57. Let's see, what was it? I'm trying to remember what it was. There's a specific MiG that they were using, and I'm trying to remember the exact one. But let's take a look. I bet if I bring up the J-20, there it is, the MiG-144. Let me show you this. Okay, so I'm going to show you. This is the J-20 fighter. Okay, look at the design of it. Okay, look at the canard wings, look at all of this. Now, let me show you this. Whoa, that's the wrong one. That is, I have a typo there, bad one. Look familiar? Looks extremely familiar, doesn't it? That's them side by side. This is the old Soviet MiG-144, and here is the Chinese J-20. It's a little bit larger. Now, there's another little secret to the J-20 in its design that is very similar to something that the Russians are using. If you look, it's specifically the engines. The engines on this started with this. Now that one's actually very specific because almost all of their stuff uses the exact same engine, including most of the Russians, including the Su-57. They just bought a Russian engine for it to start with. And in fact, they even kept the same engine exhaust for it as was originally supposed to be on the Su-57.
And for close defense, also worryingly, 6 PL-15s long-range missiles. In terms of stealth today, all stealth fighters on both sides are in full stealth configuration with missiles in concealed bays. Both fighters in the simulation have a modelled radar cross-section of 0.005 meters squared. This is as small as is modelled in the game. They are basically invisible to all radars until about 15-ish miles, maybe a bit longer for a powerful ground radar. So that is the Chinese attack. Note, Americans today have, as in real life, 120 aircraft, 76 USA, 44 Japanese. The Chinese have less, 90 aircraft, but what they've got is more long-range missiles to the Americans' medium-range missiles. They've got all these guys with the PL-15, so they're trying to make up their lack of numbers with a higher set of long-range quality missiles.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to speed this up to another chapter so we can get started with the actual fight here.
And time for the simulation. Scott, please unpause server in 3, 2, 1. Off you go. Is it going to crash? Is it going to crash? Is a black hole going to be formed? No, it's working. Oof. Here we go. Improved Okinawa with realistic.
If you're wondering why he's saying that, Cap used to use these servers, and it's just a standard server. It's not like a major gaming server for, like, I don't know, World of Warcraft or something like that, where, you know, there's a huge server farm that's on it. It's just what server that he could get for this. And so he was wondering if this thing was going to work, because this was one of the largest battles he'd ever done.
Defenses, guys. Where's my boys, first of all? Now, my boys are here. I can't risk them taking off on the runways because they will interact with the AI guys unfavorably. So I'm going to have them taking it off on the taxiway. Killer, if you lead, please.
Confirm.
Killer is a new guy here. It will be laggy, it will be jerky, obviously. There's only so much a server can handle, even a big powerful server like this. So expect a little bit of lagging until little glitches and stuff.
And I've turned down the volume a little bit. I don't know if it was blasting all of your eardrums, but I wanted to make sure that you all can hear after this.
Okay. F-35 up. Other boys going up.
Now, would they ever actually take off on a taxiway in real life? No, but the AI in this game is kind of stupid, so he didn't want that to mess with him.
As planes start getting destroyed, the server will become more optimal. Also, F-15s of the USAF taxiing, and there are lots of them.
Yeah, the server's hating you right now.
Yeah, fingers crossed it doesn't die.
Ah, she'll hold up.
Naha. Japanese, one guy is taxiing so far. And they're lovely Japanese celebrations liveries as we've got them here.
And as I said before, I love that livery. I mean, that's just beautiful looking on that.
Also, we've got the E2Ds. We've got the E2Cs. Okay, my boys are up in air.
And he said that one wrong. Those are actually E3Cs, not E2s. And these are actually supposed to be E2Cs, but they're going to work about the same.
For now, as you can see, a reminder, they cannot see everything like I can in God mode. They can see whatever our AWACSs can see, which are probably this front here at about 350 miles or something like that. Let's have a look at the Chinese J11 Bravo. Note how the sun hasn't quite come up over China yet. J10s, even less sun. Ooh, the Chinese have seen you.
Okay, the way he's telling that the Chinese can see them, the Americans coming up, is this. This is the afterburner. Most combat aircraft do not turn on the afterburner until combat is about to be reached. When air combat is about to be reached, they need to get there as fast as possible. Usually the faster person that gets there is the one that can fire the first shot. You want to be able to fire the first missile out because you have a higher chance of a kill.
As I was watching, the afterburner went on a J10. They have seen one of your F-15s must be airborne, and they are going nuts. Again, see the slightly unrealistic way the plane moves? It's because the server's overloaded. Not much we can do about that. It shouldn't affect it too much. J-15s, the big hitters at the back. No sun over here yet. Remember, these are the guys carrying the telegraph poles, the KJ-2000s. The J-20 Mighty Dragons. Okay, Mighty Dragons are zooming. They've seen you.
Now, those KJ-20s, by KJ-2000s, their AWACS, if they are still based off the old Russian mainstays, they might not be that good. The Russian mainstay was kind of an ad hoc solution to getting an AWACS airframe. They had one before that was just horrendous, called the Tu-126 Moss, and it didn't work too well, so they took their IL-76, cargo aircraft, put a radar on it, and voila, they had themselves a newer AWACS.
And the bombers.
I think I brought enough lube for the telegraph pole.
Brought enough lube for the telegraph poles to go in, Scott.
Nope, I don't think I did. It's gonna be rough
It's gonna be rough, that's right, guys.
and chafing.
Well, you've got your own telegraph poles, you've got your AIM-120Ds, so Matrix is first guy out. Let's have a look at him. He is at, wow, 28,000 feet. Oof. Big benign lightning. Oh, a lovely shot of Okinawa there. Or was pretending to be Okinawa. US Marine Corps representing at the moment. Okay, yep, AI F-15's up. USAF doing their thing.
Now keep in mind, none of these F-15s or any of the Chinese aircraft are actually human pilots. All of these are AI. The only ones that are going to be human pilots in this are some U.S. Marine Corps F-35s for this. So that does play a little bit of a role. I don't know how much, but it does play a little bit of a role in this.
Actually quite a lot faster than the F-35s. Japanese contingent are taking their sweet time to get airborne. Japanese were not going to be hurried by the looks of it.
Just remember that he said that. It gets kind of interesting later on.
We now have the weight, valued viewers, as the coalitions close on each other. You can now tell all Chinese have spotted the Americans because look how they've come out of formation. They've gone into attack formation, which will be like a trail type formation. They'll have their afterburners on to get as high and fast as they can to get their first missiles out. J-15's attack formation. These guys are going to be much slower because of their big heavy telegraph poles they're carrying. Look at that. We've got some talking time, valued viewers, because it's going to be a while before anyone gets to anyone. But good news is, server hasn't crashed, and we haven't created a black hole. And there doesn't appear to be any major problems with the AI taking off, which is usually half of the battle, to be honest. Why can't I see that guy? Plus he's in the cloud.
Good analysis there, Cap. Why can't I see him? Well, it could be that puffy thing that's usually in the air.
The furthest guy out is Matrix again, like doubling all of our speed.
I can tell he's a killer. He's a killer. That's why the RAF liked him. Wow, he really is.
By the way, their guy here, Matrix, he actually is a pilot. Like, he was part of the RAF, so he does know what he's doing. Even though this is a simulation and this is a simulator that he's playing, he still plays it like he's part of the RAF.
He really is far out. Look at that. 40,000 feet, 900 knots ground.
I'm going to see if I can pick off this AWACS.
That's brave. Matrix is going for an AWACS. That's brave. Now, the problem with that, of course, is AWACS is right at the back there. But he's got the missile tech for it. The AIM-120D is a mega missile. However, they've got mega missiles as well. They've got the telegraph poles. So this is super, super tactical, guys. And as well, remember, our guys here do not have this God mode. They can't see what I can see here, basically. All they see is a bunch of dots on the radar screen, and when you get enough dots, it just becomes a mess. So all they see is a giant mess on their radar screen. That's just how it is.
If you've ever seen Spaceballs, it gets jammed.
About to be jammed. Speaking of not being jammed, the Kadena has not jammed up yet. DCS can only handle so much going on. It's quite normal to have all these taxiways get gummed up by kind of bugged AI, but it's all working today. So we will not jinx it. Again, you can see them moving a bit funny. It's just the server's overloaded. As long as it doesn't crash, we're okay. Right, have the Japanese. No, they're taxiing weird. Why are they taxiing weird? The Japanese are not in a hurry today, guys. They want the Americans up first, I guess. I mean, maybe there could even be a tactical reason for that. Maybe it's best not to have everyone in the air at once, right? I don't know.
Sumo style?
Sumo, right.
You can see the E2s right here are along the conga line of F-15s about to go up, which actually that does look pretty cool, but I don't know. I think they would have gone up first just because they're so slow, and then you want the F-15s to come in after them because they'll just catch up and go right past them.
When they're out of fuel.
Sumo, like Mrs. Heifer.
Exactly. Mrs. Heifer's definitely in her little sumo outfit.
Man, server is getting so shaky. Hold up, server. Hold up, baby. Anyway, things are hotting up here as we've got Matrix. 133 miles, that's not cheating. He will be able to see those front guys anyway with his SA.
The last time Cap did this before my research, the missiles came in and they obliterated the place. Just a bunch of them came in, hit, and there was nothing that they could do. This one might have improved things quite a bit.
They're not showing yet.
I take that back. He will not be able to see them with his SA yet.
What's the range on these missiles again?
The answer is I don't really know. I would go for about 80 miles just to make sure. Now, remember,
80 worked.
remember they're not fire and forget. They're Fox 3, so you've got to keep them locked, at least with an offensive missile rank until they go pitbull. Just bear that in mind. However, you should be able to fire enough to keep yourself away from danger, unless they're firing telegraph poles, which is where it gets really complex. Here come the Mighty Dragons. The Mighty Dragons are really designed to take out AWACS, target of opportunity like that. You can't force them to do that in DCS. I can ask them to take out the AWACS, but they take it as an optional request.
Now, this was one thing that I disagreed with Cap on how he was doing this. You have these J-20s that are out here, and they're following the same wing coming in. More than likely, this wouldn't have happened. These guys are all stealth, right? So why wouldn't you have them well ahead of the entire formation? Because what you want is you want to be able to take out the early warning systems that are here. You want to take out this E2C here. You want to take out this E3A right here. If you take those out, then the Air Force and the pretty much all of the friendlies can't see. And since you cannot see these J-20s coming in until they get into very close range, you have a very good chance of taking down the early warning before your main package hits. And since these are stealth, you might be able to see them take off, maybe on satellite, but who knows? I don't know if they would be able to see them, an aircraft just taking off and then heading in. And also, this would probably be at night when they would be taking off, so no one, unless they have somebody watching these specific airfields where they come from, you wouldn't even see them. So they would take off. They would probably be right about here before the wave even hits. Now, the reason I'm saying they would be right here and not already have attacked is because as soon as either of these goes down, the air bases are going to scramble. They're going to know something's up, and they're going to launch everything anyway. But they're going to be blind on it. So the best way to do it is to get them pretty close so that even if they see, hey, this is coming, all of a sudden, boom, it's out. Now they don't know where anything is, and they don't know what's already hitting them. The confusion of that would be a lot higher.
I did confirm that Home on Jam is working on the 120Ds.
Nice. Okay, there.
And what he's talking about there, home on jam, what that means is if you're using a jammer pod, which all of these aircraft can have what's called an ECM jammer, electronic countermeasure, and they can help to try and jam enemy radar coming in. The AIM-120D has the ability to be able to detect where the jammer is and home in on that specific thing, so you can actually knock down actually target an aircraft that is trying to jam your radar.
There are 4 American F-15 flights up. There are 0. Oh, the first Japanese are going up. First Japanese are going up. A little bit
that part right there, that Cap had to very quickly re-say that.
laggy, but they're going up. That's good. Including in that a whole load of Hawkeyes. They're scrambling the Hawkeyes quite near the front. That's interesting. Right, Matrix is 98 miles away from the front. He'll be seeing these guys popping on his radar soon. These guys will not see him though, because these have old mechanical radars, I believe. So they'll only see about 40 or 50 miles. In fact, they won't see anything because he's stealth. They won't see diddly squat. Wow, look at that for a bunch of blips on an EWR screen. That is a...
Actually, with that old radar, you might still be able to get a chance of seeing it. It just has to be extremely close. Probably within about 10 miles is probably about the range you might be able to see the stealth. It's very hard to determine what can actually see the stealth. The actual AWACS probably could see them within 40 to 50 miles. But any of these older radars, you might be able to get about 10. The J11s, they're older radars as well, probably about 10. These J15s, however, if they're using AESA radars, like he says, yeah, they could probably reach out and be able to see it about 20 miles.
A lot of Chinese.
All right, I'm getting radar hits at about 120.
It's probably out of range of aim 120Z.
Starting to get my first TWS locks.
Oof, nice guys. Remember, fire guided missiles in, RTB. Don't waste your life. Don't get anywhere near ACM. Americans, USAF are going fast, fast, fast. 850 knots. J11s, 900 knots. Although they've had, obviously, further to speed up and stuff. J10s, wow, 1100 knots. That's not realistic, question mark? I don't know.
I actually looked that up, and these things are actually capable of about 1,300 miles, 1,300 knots. So that is accurate with this.
Managed J10s
Body,
going
Fox
fast.
3.
Here we go. Where's our Scott?
Okay, Fox 3 means you're actually firing a radar-guided missile that is similar to like an AMRAAM, Meteor, something like that. So when you're hearing Fox 3, that is one of those types, and it is an extremely long-range missile. If you hear Fox 2, in most cases that is going to be a heat seeker, similar to like an AIM-9X, something like that.
Where's our Scott? There he is. AIM-120D out from break. 120 miles, that's our Scott.
That's how I roll.
Notice how they're smoked. They're not smoked in real life, but it's the closest I could get them. Yeah, it's the best I could do. They should otherwise act pretty much like AIM-120Ds, go about 100-ish miles. Right, you've got to guide them on to target, Scott. Matrix to front line is 55 nautical miles. You want missiles out, I would suggest.
Got Winchester.
They'll be firing at you soon.
Okay, he said Winchester. Now, what Winchester actually means is that you are out of missiles. And with the F-35s, the only thing that can actually carry inside the bay is 4 missiles at a time. So you do run out of missiles fairly quick if you ripple them off like this.
Cannonballs firing AIM-120Ds out.
On the KJ.
You fired it on a KJ. Wow, he's fired for the AWACS. I mean, if they can kill the AWACSs, that's a massive tactical benefit.
I don't have the KJ on radar yet.
No, you're too far away. Matrix warning, 40 miles. Scott's first AIM-120D's going in.
Yeah, I'm getting quite heavy jamming.
Roger. I'll try and give you a warning. Okay, Scott's first missiles are going in. Scott, not sure if they're tracking or not yet. It's great to see the AMRAAMs out so early though. Matrix turnarounds, use F-15s. Oh no, missiles out.
Yeah, that's gone on home on jam mode.
Yeah.
Now, one thing about this that you need to look at, if you see all of these different missiles out, they might not even be able to see them yet. They might not even have a missile warning out on them as they're trying to lock in. If they have anything. They certainly know, if they do know, they know something fired at them, but since they're coming from the F-35s, they probably don't even see them yet. They just know that they might be out there. They probably know the F-15s are there, but they almost certain don't believe that they fired them.
Come on, baby.
I'll probably just leave
something.
it. Because your airframes are very expensive. I think they run out of battery, Scott. I'm not sure actually, just bear with it. Get the feeling they may have just pushed their legs too far. We did test these AMRAAMs, they did work in testing, so fingers crossed.
I think I just blew my load too early.
Matrix reverse, 20 miles. Even Stealth's going to get seen shortly. I'm not seeing the AIM-120Ds connecting, I don't know why, but... Stick with it.
Flash 1.
Splash 1. Okay, we've got yes, Matrix Mark 2, you way out of there because you got a missile chasing you. I shouldn't cheat, I must stop cheating. There he is. Going for this notch. Well defended.
Sword, splash 2.
So that was a PL-15 that was firing, that was going up. And what he's talking about with the radar notch is what you're supposed to do is to go parallel to, perpendicular to the path of the missile. And so what happens is the radar in it is trying to look for distance changes as it goes towards you. If you turn perpendicular to it, it thinks that you're on the same path, and therefore it actually loses track.
Well done! Right, the missiles are working. They're just a bit harder to use. Matrix is getting the heck out of dodge. Remember, East to safety. F-15's coming on the overlap. Cannonball. Cannonball's got a miss. Oh, he fired at the KJ, but it just didn't. Again, out of battery. Some technical problem. Unknown. Okay, Is this a live? Was it a live missile? This is a live missile. Our first
That's a PL-15.
American of the day is going down.
That's an F-15.
Oof, dead. In a weird bugged way, but that's the way it is. Uh-oh, uh-oh. F-15, second F-15 of the day gone down. 120D, it's going to track. As it is.
You can actually see it moving a little bit to try and track.
Boom!
Okay, this right here is not an AMRAAM. Okay, this is going to be either a Sidewinder or it's going to be, I'm guessing this is a Sidewinder because that looks like a J-10 right there. And I'm correct, that is a J-10 and that was a heat seeker. So that was a very close range shot.
Matrix is somehow still alive.
Okay, you can actually see here these PL-12s and the SD-10s that are out. The SD-10s, I believe, are shorter range missiles. The PL-12s are longer range.
Mixed in with all their everything.
F-15 down.
Oh, lots of Americans gone down. Not many Chinese gone down this time. Another M120D out. Cannonball on a cold leg. Lots of fighting going on here now. It's going to be another F-15 down. F-15's feeling it bad today. Matrix is on the deck. The hostiles are 30. Oh, it's not good. No, it's all right. Okay. Steady stream of Americans coming out.
Okay, what you just saw there was he just dropped his tanks. The reason he was dropping his tanks is he's probably trying to avoid a missile, and dropping those would assume, the pilot is assuming that they can actually get better speed and possibly better maneuverability of it. This is an AI that's flying this, though, by the way. And it didn't matter.
Strider merged. Don't be there. No reason to be there. Get the heck out of there. Remember, you only get one respawn. One respawn. Matrix is fighting devilishly from the inside of them. Uh-oh. That is the place we want to be. They've got heat-seeking missiles and a stealth. No amount of stealth is going to stop that hitting. Boom. One life down. Get another one.
And yes, you can find and hit a stealth. The Serbians found that out with the F-117. So that is accurate.
Take off on the taxiway. Another American down. So one stealth fighter's down now. Matrix Sharp is sharking down the bottom here. The Mighty Dragons are getting close. Matrix pull out if you can. Save your life. Scott's RTB to save his life. Killer is RTB to save his life. Uh-oh. Cannonball now merged. Is with...
Now, RTB means return to base.
Within a stealth detection range within 10 miles. That will not end well, valued humans. And that is now a dogfight. Might
That is an F-35 versus a J-10.
get away from it. F-15 merge. And our first dogfight of the day. Oof! That didn't last long. Well, this time China is smashing through the Americans. Matrix still alive somehow. Cannonball still merged. And that is a proper dogfight now with the Lightning on a J-10. Have you got any missiles, Cannonball?
Go on.
Make it a dead, whatever it is, J-10, please.
If you watched, he actually just fired it.
Bet you the Chinese hacked into the game to change the results.
Yeah, maybe.
You could actually see it
Maybe.
maneuvering, and
Well done,
boom,
Cannonball.
we got the kit.
Get east, get back to base. You've got time now. Somehow Matrix still alive. I mean, I'm saying how. He's got stealth, so he can only be seen within 10 miles, but it's still done an amazing job. Oof. Huge attrition at the front, guys. Pretty much as it would be in real life, you know. It's okay, the Japanese are out now. Japanese are out firing AIM-9Xs. Well, that's a thing. In terms of who's winning.
Break the bad news,
Yeah,
but we do have missiles incoming.
Hit.
Cruise missiles incoming.
Cruise missiles are in. Right, okay, well, you've got time. You've got time. They'll be 300 miles away. They get fired 400 miles away.
Try to keep their fighters away so we don't waste our SAM site missiles.
Good idea, which are finite, by the way. Matrix still alive. Oh, the first Chinese telegraph poles are out. PL-15's in the air, 48,000 feet. That's with J-15s. Look at this mess. Oof.
Tuck your tail and run or bend over.
Good dodge. Such a big fight at the front here. Notch.
Those sounds you're actually hearing missiles and stuff flying past, missiles and jets flying past.
Merge! Wow, they were so close and fast, they didn't have time to fight. Jesus, look at that. Look at that. What kind of sight is that, valued viewers? It's the fight for the survival of the island. A9X out. Man, this is crazy. We're going to die, honky. No, you're not. Good dodge. Not you. So much to watch. American. Okay, we're starting to thin out of the front finally.
Oh, Cannonball, you went down.
I ran out of.
If you're watching these, what the AIM-120s do is they go up high and then start to come back down. That's how they're actually programmed to go in.
gas.
Ah, yeah.
Shane.
You've got another life, use it. Come on, J11. Get smacked in the face. Yes! Oh, look at brave F-15. Brave Japanese F-15 like to fight with swords. Oh, god damn it.
As soon as he says, like to fight with swords, it gets blown up instantly.
Oh, he performs seppuku.
Apparently. The Americans are holding them 80 miles away from the island. And the Japanese, I should say, sorry. Japanese down. Okay. The Chinese are now pincering the Japanese and Americans in a classic pincer. PL-15s, these were fired about 100 miles away by the mighty dragons. They're just dropping onto someone, look. Dropping onto someone. It'll just come from orbit. Oh, it has failed to track, though. It's run out of battery. They were fired out of
Speaking of running out of batteries, where's Simba? Did he get lost?
Very possibly. Actually, it's quite cool. Simba is actually playing real war games in this area of the world. That's all I'm allowed to say. He does this for real basic.
So what they're talking about there, one of their guys is actually part of the, I believe he's part of the Navy. They were doing their impact exercise at about this time.
And yeah, they're wargaming at the moment, but that's all I'm allowed to say.
Really?
Yep.
I was there not that long ago.
Very cool.
So he's doing the rim.
Wicked. Yeah, so he's up all hours at the moment getting them all ready.
Well, hopefully he does a good rim job.
Fair comment, Scott. Fair comment.
Sorry, Simba.
Oh, he'll get you back.
Oh, you know he will.
Yeah, I keep stealing my kills.
Just a giant. Oh, I've got some AMRAMs, AIM-120Ds out again. Strider. The front is now still 80 miles. Americans are holding them at 80. Again, cruise missiles are in the air, but not going to worry about that yet. They're 300 miles away.
Duhati inbound on. To reload.
There is just too much to watch.
Careful on your landing, Hadi. It looks like some F-15s are crossing the runway.
You must not upset those F-15s, guys. They're very simple computer brains. If you crash on landing, I'll let you have it because I'm aware you've got to have. I'm aware you've. Oh yeah, just land there, Scott, and I'll let you have it.
Cool, that works.
Smart.
Put that gear out. Look at that, belly viewers.
Is it toggling?
Oh,
No, your gear's not out.
where's that G
There
button?
you go, it's come down.
J20 is the stealths are almost here. This is where the problems for the Americans really hot up. The stealths are coming in. Oof. Dogfight.
See, this is what real modern combat would be. More than likely, you probably wouldn't even see your enemy. You probably would never see them. You would just see it on radar and fire at them. With the ranges that are involved, you're talking about 80 to 100 miles on some of these.
Wow, that guy killed that guy and that guy killed that guy. That was pretty cool. Oof. Kill count must be ridiculous. Still, the Chinese keep coming and the Americans keep coming. How's the Japanese base? Japanese base is now empty completely. Kadena is now 75% empty. interestingly, the Lightnings have only just started to take off. So for some reason, they prioritised the F-35s over the Lightnings. Why? Maybe there's tactical reasons. I don't know.
More missiles on the F-15.
Also, F-15 more expendable, question mark, for the initial battle. Front line is now 100 miles. The Americans are pushing them back 20 miles. Even further now. 100 miles. Yeah, 100 miles. Oh,
Thank you for showing up, Brenna. Have a good day. I will see you the next time.
telegraph poles coming out. Finally, the big heavy J-15s have got here with the telegraph poles, which are problematic, and the stealths are here. Now, the only thing that can kill a stealth is a stealth, so get ready for your net. Use your next life on the J-20s, guys. Literally, here they come, and they're firing PL-15s at the American Eagles. Okay.
I don't see them.
Yeah, you gotta. I don't know. You gotta. I can't cheat. You gotta find them. How do you find a stealth? I don't know. This is what War Games is for.
Look at that thing tracking. Look at it
First
track.
telegraph kill of the day. PL-15 just smashed a guy at 80 miles. Oh, and there's all sorts of telegraph poles. Each one of these is going for a different F-15. We've seen these using our Taiwan War Games and how deadly these can be. That said, this guy got close. And it's got a name 120 Charlie out. Look how far they're fired. They're fired for tens of miles. These. Oh, what's happened there? No, nothing. Okay, telegraph pole coming in.
And he doesn't have a good
Very
notch.
brave F-15 driver to get that. close
Dropped
to
his
a
pegs
telegraph
and got
carrier.
hit.
He might have even taken one down. What a freaking hero. Legacy AMRAAM. No, it's not going to make it. No good. More telegraph poles coming in.
Oh my god, they're at sea level.
Yep. J-15 down. Okay, you've taken your first J-15 down, boys. Well done. Japanese. Oh, I couldn't evade a telegraph pole. Oh no, this is really wiping the Americans out. More telegraph poles. Look how far.
Now he says that. I want you to remember that. Cap said that it's really wiping the Americans out, but you can clearly see something. There's a lot more Americans left than there are the Chinese. Right here, you're actually looking at this battle. You have 4 J-20s here, 4 of them here. There are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe 13 Chinese aircraft that are left. The bombers aren't going to be in here. They've already fired. But if you look at the amount of fighters, the Chinese are losing badly here.
They've been fired from 90 miles away, right over the battlefield. Though they've done it wrong. They should have been firing these when the other guys were still alive. So they got too slow to battle. It was an error in the Chinese attack. These attacks are not easy to organise. J-15 down. Americans have done well against J-15s now. They're doing great dodging a lot of the telegraph poles, actually.
J-20 down by an AI.
You already killed a J-20.
Oh my kill.
The merge, Strider, merge, J-20, Mighty Dragon. 8 miles. Chinese push back 106 nautical miles. They've got within ACM range of the Mighty Dragon. They found him. By hook or by crook, valued humans. Oh, he's down on the deck. No, they haven't. It's gone right underneath them. They're going underneath you guys. You sons of bees. It's gone right underneath them. What's going on over here? Okay, the next layer of J-15s are coming in with their telegraph poles for on break. I don't know, lots of miles.
Holy shit, the sea is just littered with parachutes.
It's a little bit, isn't it?
You just about walk from China to Taiwan and without getting your feet wet.
Okay, the J-20s have got past you guys and they're deliberately not attacking. Why is that?
Last J-20.
Oh, they're going for your AWACS. The northern AWACS has been attacked by Mighty Dragon. I'm not allowed to tell you that, am I? Telegraph poles out on the
Little bit of accidental intel there, Cap. A little bit.
AWACS at 142 miles. Another fight between whoever the hell is fighting now.
Okay, I can clearly tell that is a Chinese PL-15 missile, and that's an F-15.
And oof. Oof. Oh, there's some there's a J-10 still alive. Look, yes, there's still a flight of J-10s. More telegraph poles going out. Oh, and friendly telegraph poles going out from Cannonball at 50 miles. Smash! An F-15 has found a mighty dragon at 15 miles who is on the deck and going for our AWACS. You cheeky SOBs. Telegraph pole is gonna smash the sky. No. Dodge. Wow, finally someone dodged one. Well done, good notch, sir.
Remember what I told you about the
Japanese
notch?
down.
You have to go
Oh, I can't.
perpendicular to it. And that's what he did.
F-15 AI has found a close range friggin' mighty dragon.
Now,
Somewhere.
will this
He's down there
missile
somewhere. There he
actually
is.
track it?
Your stealth can't hide at that range, mate. Yeah,
Boom.
got him. That was exceptional flying. Strider, oh, you can see it already. That's a mighty dragon right there doing a naughty thing. Shoot his face, ideally. Stealth and self-contact, but I'm not sure what he's doing. He's definitely doing a thing. Okay, where are we now? All bombers are fired. 96 KD-20 is on the way. Loads of PR-15s.
Not
No,
all.
that would not be what it would sound like with the
got it.
F-35.
Still got
The
a
gun on
J-15s
that's
to take
gonna
down.
be a Vulcan.
You're doing all right, guys. You're doing great in the air war. Smash.
Day-20 down.
Lightnings are still taking off. That's great. These have got big missiles with the AI that are 100% accurate. 110 miles. You pushed into 110 miles, guys. You're winning the air war. And F-15's found another mighty dragon doing a cheeky thing. Shoot that mighty dragon. Yes, it's shot at him. Go on. Yep, he's dead.
That's an
I
AIM-120C, and
Boom.
boom.
Good, you guys have eliminated the northern mighty dragons. Well done, guys. Don't know how you got past their stealth, but you did. And the F-15s have got within the J-15 snipers. That's great work. Strider is ACM range with a J-20
You can
on his
clearly
nose.
see here at this
Oh,
point
good.
that there's very
Final
little
06
left.
strike.
Oh, nice. Nothing to deconflict with apart from a couple of AWACSs.
Those are the
Yeah, they're texting it
E3s
on the barrel
taking
of
off.
6 region
Got
away.
it. All the lags cleared up. Oh, the final AI F-15s are going up. No, sorry, the final AI stealth fighters are going up. And they're going to mop up mighty dragons. Ooh, this is good. Still giant merge battle. Oh, it's going to be a tandem kill.
Oh. Did it miss the
Well, no kill at all.
AIM-9X?
How about that? Boom! American wins. Mopping up, boys. Oh, pincer on that mighty dragon. Ha ha ha. Guess some, baby. Cannonballs merge with a J-15. Look left shoulder high. Killer has got an AMRAAM, which I'm worried might hit cannonballs. You gotta be a little careful. Cannonball exit the fight immediately. Fox 3 about to go pitbull.
So, Cap, do you know the story of actually how to get a pit bull to release its jaws when it's locked onto something?
Tickler's
Okay.
balls.
No, close though.
Mhm.
You stick your thumb up its butt, and it
Huh.
immediately opens its jaws.
Wow, how about that?
Neighbor of mine found that out firsthand. He goes, I heard about it on the internet,
Right. I'm gonna use that next time you lock onto me.
and just pull out slow.
Mm-hmm. I've no idea what those J-20s are doing now, but they're doing whatever they want to do. Oh, he's going into combat. It's a J-20 problem. Oof, nice.
Now, as you
Americans
see,
are mopping up
there's
now,
very little
boys.
left.
Chinese are going down. Mighty Dragons just haven't performed today. Which is weird because they did last time, but it just shows you never know what's going to happen. All Mighty Dragons down. All Mighty Dragons down. They just performed terribly today. One J-15 to take out. Massive, for some reason, American
So-
air-to-air victory. Why is that? You tell me. You know that you've seen as much as me.
But it
Reasons.
may all be for naught if we don't have
Right.
an airfield to come back to and land on.
And
Right,
that is a
so,
key thing.
Guys, you've got no more fighters
So
to kill.
we're going to worry
Your
about
next
that
job
in a
is
second.
to go and kill KD-20s with missiles. Do AWACS installation.
So
Go,
we're going to
Faz Amy.
speed up, and we're going to get to where the missiles are starting to come in.
The AWACS finally.
Cap, can you give me a bearing?
Stand by. 250.
So here
for
comes the
12
missiles.
miles.
And yes,
Matrix
cruise
missile
missiles can be shot down.
is Splash 1, 50 miles. Nice.
Nothing on radar.
Turn around, go back, come again. You're going to get in. You're going to get friendly fire if you get
And
too
if you
close.
see,
Patriots
there are
firing.
Patriots
Whoa,
out.
whoa, 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 whoa. There we go, boys. Big ass Patriots going out from the mother load. Look at that. Matrix's missiles coming in.
Merge with the missiles.
Got it. I would suggest not being there personally, but more kills, more kills. Oh, that one missed, Matrix. That's weird. Is that all of your missiles, Matrix?
A5 Winchester.
Because you can't guard, you can get a new life, so just scramble. Well done, Scott. That's my boy.
Gotta love bore mode.
Oh, here comes the battery again. 10 miles and the Patriots are firing again. Woof, 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 woof. Ich bin ein Patriot.
I forget exactly how many the PAC-3 has. I believe that they have 4 missiles per tube on this now. And they were specifically designed to go after aircraft and cruise missiles.
Oh, you guys are chucking them down. Killers in. That's my boys working at their absolute best today. Look at that. They're
And you
just
can
blowing
see
up
them
and blowing up
taking
and
them
blowing up.
down
Okay,
one
first
after
batteries.
another.
Winchester. Keep it going, boys. Keep it going. Killer box, fire everything quickly. You may have a friendly fire coming at you. You may not. I don't know. Scratch it. All is well.
Down 4.
Go around it again. Killer box. Get a new one. Okay. I would say probably. I'm not sure how many left, but keep firing, guys. Keep firing. Keep firing. Keep firing. Shot. Keep those missiles coming out, Strider and Matrix. 5 miles. Good
And we
kills,
are
good
watching
kills.
as these get killed. One after another.
Great kills. Front attack only has 3 more missiles. Keep firing them. Okay, watching front attack now. We might just make it. Okay, front attack. Patriots coming in from the left. Yes, here come the Patriots. Battery 2. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Gradual one with guns.
Ah, damn it. One got through. Keep killing them, guys.
So
Keep
that's
killing them.
one.
5 more miles. Only one's got through so far. That's an easy bulldoze repair.
Yeah, Simba's already on that repair.
Yep. See you gunning them, Scott. So funny.
Yeah, got him.
And
Right, only
we're going
one's
to
got
watch
through
the
so
last
far.
of these getting through.
48. Oh, great intercept. Doing great, guys. Keep it going. Close range to Chu Sam, the Chu Sam. Type 3's 3. 3 missiles got through. Look at that defense, guys. 3 missiles got through out of 48. I'm going to say that again. 3 missiles got through out of 48. That's a success, guys. We can still operate. Only one
A
landed
lot
on the
more
runway.
coming.
Right, 48 more coming in the next lot. Go, 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 go. Get new
All
planes,
right,
get new
so
planes.
that was the first
Where's the
one.
victor? I still have 5 missiles.
290 for 90. Sauce of Samyang guy. Racist.
Not racist.
Keep it going, guys.
I didn't
Ooh, and a
say that,
miss.
everybody. I just have it
doesn't matter,
on.
desync. Guys.
Okay, this is where the funny part is. We're getting close to the
Smash,
end
smash,
of this.
smash. Probably another 4 down. Great killing, you guys. There are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 left. Cannibal merge. 9 o'clock. 3 o'clock. Huh. One of the AWACSs survived and is chasing our entire Air
Flash
Force
one.
back. Did not expect that. Oh, that's why.
Look at this
Oh,
thing.
he's angry.
He's
really
missing 2
angry.
entrants.
If
He's
you
been
get a
hit a
chance,
lot.
guys, look on F10,
and he
find
is
the AWACS
flying.
that's chasing our lightnings away, and have a look at him. Must not
Oh,
shout
man.
W word.
That's-
Must not shout W word.
I
That
think I
should
just
not be
lost lock
flying.
on 3 of these missiles.
Ooh, ho, ho. Glenn Cannibal's going to get a face full of brand new AMRAM, which, by the way, has no IFF system in it. 4 left.
Winchester.
Is a nice type
Uh-oh.
of gun. 3 left. 2 left. That's my boys.
Oh.
So, one of them got cannonball. So this would have simulated there's AI F-35s all going back to base, rearming and coming back. By the
So
way.
they are
One
just about
left.
done.
Right, you've
one
got one
left.
more KD-20 to kill, and we win the day, guys. And that's by hard work. Nothing but hard work. And that's my boy, it's my killer. Done.
So,
Woo!
with all
Scott,
of that,
Pause server. Everyone have a sip of tea. Oof.
if you look at this, this showed pretty much as close as you could probably get to an accurate attack, an accurate war game of what would happen with a large-style Chinese attack. Now, there's a lot that they can do with this game. There's a lot that they can try to simulate. Unfortunately, they don't have all of the aircraft modeled in this game that can be flyable. You can't control all of them with just players. The AI has to take some of it. And so some of the stuff the AI can screw up on. The parts that I'm going to say that were messed up with were going to be, first off, what was done with the J-20s. Again, the J-20s should not have been even with the same strike wave. You want to have those up ahead of the main strike. They can come in, you don't see them, they can hit with surprise, and that coming in first would give you a very, very big element of surprise. It takes out a lot of the intel that they would be able to see at this point, and that would probably help them win the day. After that, when you look at it, this slow trickle out of F-15s and then F-35s going out, that actually played to the Americans and the Japanese advantage, because they only have, the Chinese have a finite amount, and their aircraft are going to be trying to fire all of their missiles as quick as they can to try and take out all of the wave. But you might have more than one firing at the same target, so that takes a lot of missiles out of it. Plus, with them slowly coming out, that means they can just keep coming, and it does demoralize an enemy. Now, after all of that is said and done, this was actually a pretty good war game. I think they got it better this time after getting a little bit better intelligence with it. But that is what I've got for you today. I think I'm going to end it shortly here. I'm going to let it go through a little bit of this. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also be sure to subscribe to the Grim Reapers as well, because I'm going to have more of their stuff coming up. I've already had a few more that I've done the research for, and I'm waiting for them to post the war games of, so be sure to look for that. Also, I am looking for new people to support me on Patreon. What we are trying to do right now is I am needing about, and I'm going to tell you the exact number, don't get sticker shock, it's just what it is, about $600. The reason for that is to pay for all of the editing software and all of the, basically the entire Adobe suite that I need for the entire year. I don't have that type of money anywhere around, so if any of you want to join with Combat Ineffective and be part of the crew here, click to join on the Patreon site, and you will be brought in as one of our team here. We may also be trying to change the name, but I'm not there just yet. We are working on another name and possibly a different site. I'm going to just sign into Patreon so it can show you. This one, so you can't see it, and we are going here. Just show me the, dang it. Here it is. So, just go to my page. No. View as. There it is. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. So, these are the 3 different levels that you can join as. Can join as sergeant, captain, or as a general level. These are all the different things that you'll get with it. We do have a Discord benefit with all of these. You will get, for the captain level, early access to all of our videos. And then if you go to that, you'll have your own special area in the Discord. And then we also have this one for the generals, early access, the officers club, and merch that is only available to them. We have a sticker, a mug, a tote bag, and a t-shirt that is all in this. So if you would please go to our Patreon, which is patreon.com/combatineffective. That is patreon.com/combatineffective, and consider joining the ranks. All right, everybody, I thank you for showing up to the stream, and I will talk to you later. Have a good night, everybody.